Jeb Bush had one of his most embarrassing moments from an overly embarrassing campaign at this week's GOP debate. But that moment might actually be less embarrassing than the way he responded to it once he got on the news.
He wants to be a tough guy. He wants to be a tough guy tonight.
How tough is it to take property from an elderly woman?
Let me talk. Quiet.
Okay, and there he is shushing you.
If Donald Trump becomes the GOP nominee, how would a reaction like that, shushing you, how would that go head-to-head with Hillary Clinton, do you think?
Yeah, so you think he's going to shush Hillary Clinton? I mean, come on. This is, well, he would lose. That's the point.
Wow, there's that video was not very long, but there is a lot to be embarrassed about. First of all, the way that they edited him being shushed made it less embarrassing than it was, because very fast. You needed to see that he goes, shh, and he holds it, and Jeb Bush just goes, and stops talking. Right. He was actually shushed. He had just been told by his mommy that week to stop letting people interrupt you, and he still backed down. And then to say that he wouldn't have done it to Hillary. Hillary obviously very strong. Me, he can shush me every day, but he wouldn't do that to Hillary. Yeah. That's strength from Jeb Bush.
The fact that he doesn't understand that that's actually a bad thing, that Hillary wouldn't let Trump get away with it, but you did. Amazing. Oh, it's amazing. But everything about this guy, his body language, like, what is this? Like, okay, I mean, come on. He literally said it there. Yeah. He did the Jimmy line. Come on, give me a break, right? I mean, he wouldn't let Hillary wouldn't let him do that. Come on.
Maybe we could play the video again. But when they cut from the video of Trump, he literally does the head motion. They're like, oh, come on.
Right. And he said, come on.
He said, come on. It's just sad. But anyway, we do want to give him a little bit of credit, perhaps, because while that was one of the saddest things I've ever seen in my life, not just in nonfiction, but in fiction as well, he did go on, I believe it was on Morning Joe, and he actually had apparently talked to his mom again, and his mom gave him specific instructions, and he came guns a-blazing against Trump, which I found to be impressive as somebody who wants him to not be such a sad sack. Here is Jeb Bush on Morning Joe.
Well, they're bully that way.
They're scared of him.
They're scared of him.
It's just ridiculous.
But I mean, the guy's just a, he's just a real estate guy.
I mean, you think he's gone bankrupt 4 times.
Okay, you seem to be really on your game this morning, so we will close this morning with word association.
Uh-oh. I don't like this.
Trump. Just one word.
Loser.
Okay.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Christy. Okay, next one. Christy.
Christy?
Yeah.
Great guy.
Okay.
Right now.
Rubio.
Work in progress.
Hillary.
She can be beat.
Yeah, if you could do that with one word, it's beatable. But he didn't go for that. I love when you see in his eyes that he realizes, oh, they like when you fight back. They do that zoom in on the young woman's face. He's like, yeah, call him a loser. And he's like, huh? You like that? It's a little bit late, maybe.
Look, he looks like the standard dork in school. I'm sorry,
He's a dork.
Like when he says something that works in class for the first time ever, and the cool kids laughed. He's like,
yes.
Did that work? Did that work?
I spent a lot of time in a lot of big rooms filled up with people playing Magic the Gathering. I know dorks. He is a dork.
And look, to go back to the shushing for a second and to tie, I hear you on that, brother. Okay, but I can one-up that. I was not allowed into a Dungeons & Dragons group when I was younger. Okay. Come on, guys. Give me a break. Let me into Dungeons & Dragons.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, during the debate when he got shushed, you cannot, especially in a Republican debate, under any circumstance, be shushed. So
yeah.
At that point, you lash out. It doesn't matter what you say.
No,
I mean,
doesn't matter.
If I was Jeb Bush, I'd have said, I think my instinct, and I thought about this, like, what would I have said on the spot? Right?
I will break you.
And I didn't want to overthink it because I wanted to be as instinctual as possible. Yeah. And my reaction as I was reading the story was, I would have interrupted, hey, listen, you animal. I wasn't done speaking. I was talking about how you ran over that poor lady so you could park limousines for your rich buddies. Oh, but you went bankrupt anyway in that, didn't you, Donald? Yeah. You see, that's why you're a loser and you went bankrupt 4 different times. You're out here talking about how you're so great. Yeah, you're running over little ladies to try to get money, but at the same time, you did nothing but lose, lose, lose. Yeah. So don't shush me, okay?
He could have literally just began screaming. Just, ah! I would have given him more credit if he'd held that scream for 20 or 30 seconds.
Okay, go ahead. Try to shush me, John, and I'll be.
Hey,
I should've-
quiet. Shh.